From the land of ketchup and pastry, this is the Soul Podcast. I'm King Sejong, reminding you that if a seat is empty on a crowded subway, proceed with caution. And here is your host, Joe McPherson.
And welcome to the Soul Podcast. This is Joe. Today, our guest I've been wanting to have on for a long time. We have young Kim. Where is your bunker?
Right now we're in Torrance, California.
Torrance, California. Like BitTorrent?
So, we're considered the South Bay. So we're south of Los Angeles, right in between Long Beach and Los Angeles. And basically it's a beach city. We're near Manhattan Beach. All beaches are about like five,
Lovely
10 minutes
closed
away.
beaches.
Yeah.
Are you one of those? Is your city one of those that's trying to open the beaches back up again?
No, that's Huntington. That's in Orange County. They did open up last weekend.
Orange County, yeah.
Yeah, but the governor, Gavin Newsom, he said, no, shut down all the beaches. And now there's all these protests now. There's people saying, dude, you know what? We gotta be let go. We need freedom. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
I did move out to California and not go to the beach, dude.
And we still haven't even peaked out yet, Korea. We still haven't peaked out yet. We don't even know. I don't even know how many people actually could get tested right now. It's like
I was just out, and even though we're only getting 0 to 1 new domestic cases a day, everyone's still wearing masks.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the new norm for a while.
It's the new hat. It's like the old days when you always had to wear a hat outside. You should always.
Yeah. Just a question: do they let you in? Do they serve you if you don't have a mask?
Oh, in a restaurant, I do
or
not
anywhere,
know.
any store, anything. Because in America right now, in LA especially, if you don't have a mask on, you're not being served.
Yeah, we're not that. Korea, we're not that draconian about rules. In Korea, rules are guidelines, or rules are for everyone else. Generally, just everyone just follows it. Okay, so we went out. We hadn't really been out to eat since the Girl Scout, but since early March. This is the first time we've been out to eat since late February.
Well, yeah, you can't eat anywhere in here, but everything for to go or just essential businesses that are open. If you're gonna take some takeout food, you got to walk in there with a mask. So and owners, to protect everyone else, they do have the right to refuse service.
Okay, yeah, and I see that, and my brother runs a restaurant in Houston, and he's saying he doesn't even want to open up. But we went out for the first time earlier this week, Monday. This wonderful chicken called nuringji tondak, which is this wood roasted chicken that's split open and served on a sizzling pan of nuringji of toasted crispy rice,
and then it starts like
it's so good. It's so good, and they serve it with this sweet wasabi mustard, which is it's just addictive. And so my wife, I it's on my chicken tour anyway, but my wife only just, of course, even though I've been doing it for over a year, going there all the time, my wife doesn't pay attention to it until she sees it on the internet or sees it on TV. So suddenly she wants to do
that, Joe.
Yeah. So suddenly she's interested in it. I'm like, I've been trying to tell you to do this for like 2 years now. So finally we went out and tried it. Girls loved it. This is the most amazing. This is the future of chicken and beer.
Really?
It's so good. I could eat that any day. I can eat it over and over again. It's so good.
When did this place open?
Well, there are a few of these. I wouldn't even say it's a franchise. They're all called something nuringji tondak.
So it's a style. They come up with.
Yeah, and it's starting to pop up in many places, and you can tell them because they have a rotisserie and they have reams of firewood sitting outside.
And that's how they get that
flavor.
flavor.
The smell is so good. The smell and everything. It's juicy. It tastes like Thanksgiving. It's just
wow.
Yeah.
It's homey.
It's good. It's good. I mean, I take Americans love it, but they also say, yeah, it kind of tastes like home. It doesn't taste too exotic. It tastes different enough but it's still very Korean.
Yeah.
Because they even put a little like wood. I forget what the name of it is, but something used in Chinese medicine. They even put some of that in the rice. Because it's like a good luck charm, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, the point is when we were there, some were wearing masks, some weren't.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
well, I mean, you got to
mix.
take off your mask to eat, right?
You got to take off your mask to eat. Before this all started, the restaurants were starting to go down, requiring everyone to use hand sanitizer when they enter and when they leave. All servers are wearing masks.
Yeah.
And that's how it is right now. But now,
at least you guys are having like people eat in. I mean, that's actually pretty good. But
yeah. People are eating in. Yeah.
So basically, I was watching the Korean news ever since this whole thing broke, and then I was just keeping an eye on what Korea was doing, so we can figure out what to do over here. Because obviously, America didn't know what the heck to do at that point,
Yeah.
So I think Korea has become like this complete model, this model that everyone's like kind of looking towards to see how they're doing it, what they're doing, the drive-through testing centers and all that stuff along with that. And now it's like they're the first to open up the restaurants, and everyone's going to start coming in, and then to see what kind of disinfection measures and how they, protect all of their customer. That's also going to be another thing that the world is going to be keeping an eye on as well to get ideas through.
We never closed the restaurants.
That's what I'm saying. And it's just people just stopped going. Over here, it wouldn't have worked like that. Everyone would have just kept going.
Yeah.
But I think somehow Koreans, they just understood early on and said, you know what, we need to stay indoors.
What's funny is, see, this is where I go in my big giant generalization things and saying stuff that I'll regret later.
What's the podcast? It happens.
Yeah.
And it's about to happen today.
I think Americans have gotten so accustomed to rules all the time that they won't do anything unless there's a rule. Would that make sense?
I agree.
Yeah. Korea rules are flexible. It depends on your situation. First coming here, complained about that all the time. Motorcycles on the sidewalks, stop signs, people running stop signs and red lights all the time. But if you're sitting at a stop sign and it's 2 a.m. and if you're sitting at a red light and it's 2 a.m. and no one else is there, go.
Yeah.
Really, you're not bugging the matrix by going through it.
And if a cop sees you, they're probably not going to ticket you for it.
They're not going to do anything. Of course, if I was back in Georgia, Roscoe P. Dunlap will just sit there waiting for me to run a red light at 2 a.m. on an empty road.
That's to catch you, right? I never thought that I would be saying this, because I think while I was there, I got like really bitter.
Yeah.
And I got very unhappy with life. Just, when you're in Seoul, you see about 20% of the sky all the time. That's it, right? Of all the buildings. So I think your viewpoint like becomes narrow, and you only see like 20% of certain things. And then you start only seeing the negative things. But now that I've lived here in America after 17 years in Korea, I've been here for like 3 years, right? Wow, Korea, since the 90s, it's evolved so much. Life over there is good, man.
I agree.
Life is good.
I agree.
Man.
I think that the whole COVID-19 has made me very much into the Korea camp so much that I've even said this. I'm not saying that I'm serious about it, but I'm playing with the idea. If my Korean language skills really improved, I'd consider naturalization.
Yeah. Why don't you go for it? I mean, really, because we are like, the expat community, we were actually the first to really point out some of the things that didn't align. I can't say it was wrong, because it's the country's culture. So I think we were the first to say that, and point out the things that didn't align with what we were used to in Western culture. Yeah. And with that, I think there was a big evolution in Korean businesses, services, and also the way expats were treated over there as well. And I just kind of see all of us having contributed to what Korea is today. I think the biggest globalization of Korea happened during the 2000s. And that's when we saw more and more foreigners. I know you were there before, and you
I
were
was
one of the
2004.
2004. 2004. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So I mean, there were some guys before, like Isaac. You know, there were some of the that were there before.
The '90s crew.
Yeah, so the '90s crew was there, and you know they were the first on the scene, and they experienced all the hardships as well. But when you look at like what Korea's become, even Itaewon, dude, you know, Itaewon just used to be like this, you know, this cruddy ass place for the GIs, you know.
Yeah.
And then with all this like counterfeit goods or whatever it is. But now look at it, dude. This is something that the expat community has made.
Have you been back to Itaewon lately?
I haven't been back for 3 years, but I saw the drama. I saw the TV show Itaewon. What is that? Itaewon Class, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking at that and I was going, oh my God, you know, we were a part of this, you know?
Yeah.
In Itaewon becoming the knockoff district to, you know, the OG like globalized district.
Yeah.
And we made that happen. People like you introducing all the foods and stuff to all those people all over the place. You know, Korea is so awesome.
I really credit Korean Americans for bringing Itaewon up. I mean, it was definitely the Vatos guys, Linus Kim.
Definitely, yeah. They did do something there.
Yeah, a lot of them made Itaewon safe so for people to go, and it started the whole Machit movement.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and so now look at it. You just have nations of Koreans just going over there, nations of foreigners. The first place they go is like, you know, Itaewon. So I think it's great that it's evolved this way.
It took me a month before I went to Itaewon, and it was only because we had finished a DMZ tour and we wanted something to eat, and yeah, we were in the area,
and we all knew. And we all knew what Itaewon had back then, you know. So it was
like, well, I didn't know. I always heard, and I was like, I didn't come all the way across the world to eat a hamburger. and then I went to Gecko's, which was the Star Wars cantina of Seoul.
It's weird how all those places came up because we were all in like the Korea scene. We were the Apgu kids. So my generation.
So I want to hear more about your story. This is really because background. Because this is Young Kim. We haven't told you. We haven't told everyone who you are yet. We're just like, it's this guy. This guy looks, you know, he's socially distancing himself from his Elmo.
Yeah, this guy, man. You know, sign of the times, brother. Sign of the times.
And you've had a long storied career. We first knew each other from working together on Arirang TV.
Yeah. I have heard of you on many occasions, and so
big question. Did you used to host Let's Speak Korean?
Yes, sir. I started with the third season. So season 3.
Yes.
Before me, it was Stephen Revere.
Yeah, because I first watched it with Stephen Revere.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started watching it.
He's a teacher.
Yeah. I started watching it with you, too. You guys taught me my first Korean.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was so surreal. It was so surreal that I was doing Arirang Radio? Yeah, I was doing Arirang Radio. I was on Lisa Kelly's show. Lisa Kelly was the host of the show, too. And I had the biggest crush on her back then. You know why? She sort of looks like, but I figured out why. There's a certain type of look she kind of reminds me of Betty Aberlin, lady from Mr. Rogers.
Oh, and then she reflects that kind of a character in some of her past work.
Yeah, so it's like she dug up some childhood stuff. Anyway, so after the show, she was driving me somewhere, and in the car, she started giving me a private Korean lesson, and that was just the most meta surreal thing of my life. Is in person having Lisa Kelly, who I knew only from a distance as this goddess that I would turn on my TV at 7 a.m. getting ready for work and learn Korean from her. That was so cool. Dude, so you were the host of that show too.
So Lisa wasn't just famous from that. She actually was on like this variety program back in the Korean.
I remember she was on EBS.
Yeah, where she would. Yeah, no, but she was actually on Kongjungpa, which is terrestrial TV network. It was like KBS, SBS, or
Princess
NBC,
something.
Right? No. What she did was like she came out and then she introduced certain like English phrases and stuff, and then they would try to guess it and stuff. So Yu Jesuk was on there, I think, and that's how kind of she became even well known. So even as a high school student, there was a demand for like English, like really proper English speaking voices,
and
she
people
was
who
one
could
of
also
the
speak
original
Korean
ones
too. Yeah,
yeah, she could also speak Korean too. So
that's the
she
thing.
just
You have to be bilingual to be on Korean TV. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lisa was able to do that, and that's why she became popular. But before Let's Be Korean and all that, I was actually a singer. I came back to Korea back in '97, and I decided before I took on a major because I didn't know what the heck what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
I joined the club. Yeah.
I still don't know what I want to do. It's like
we're the same way. ADD. We have so many passions we can't focus.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, do I go to school and study? And I had taken like UCLA transfer classes back then. I went to a community college. I was kind of dumb. So
still, nonetheless, you had access to UCLA.
But
I was
yeah,
smart.
So I
could only go to University of Alabama because everything else was unaffordable.
But if you went to a community college, then you would have been able to, save a little bit of money on the first 2 years.
There
and
you
move
go.
On, right?
There you go.
So this is what, I didn't know what I wanted to study. I know I didn't want to be a lawyer because I didn't know what the heck lawyers did. No one ever explained any of that kind of stuff to me.
Oh,
and I never asked, right? But I just wanted to take some time off and chase this crazy dream that I had a long, long time ago. And that was to be a singer and an actor, go into entertainment. And back then, there really was no figures. There really were no figures at that time in America. I mean, if you remember like the early 90s, the movies that were coming out were like by Oliver Stone that involved Asians, I mean.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was all Vietnamese war movies.
Yeah. It's always bit parts for Asians.
So, yeah. So I didn't really see any of that happening. And I just decided that there was also kind of like an influx of Kpopos or Korean Americans that were going back to Korea and fulfilling their dreams.
Yeah.
And I decided to take a chance. It wasn't like I had like an audition or something. It wasn't like I auditioned through SM and I made it. I just said, you know what? I have nothing over there. I have nothing here right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to do this because then if I fail, I can tell myself that, hey, you know what? I did fail, but I tried. I wasn't good enough. It didn't work out, but at least I tried.
It sounds like you did fine.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was going to do fine then, I didn't know. And I don't think I did fine because it hurts for me right now. I'll tell you the whole story. This is going to be a long one and it's going to be a few drinks, but
no, tell me the story. Tell me the story because I've seen lots of this and I want to hear your story too.
It's the fall from stardom is a very difficult thing. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
Fall from stardom.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing. I still can't watch variety programs because I see my peers on there who are much more successful than I am, that's played their cards right. We were all dealt a hand.
Yeah.
And it's how you played your cards and who you were friends with that really helps your career in the future.
Luck.
And I didn't play my
cards
right. Yeah, luck too. But I didn't play my cards right, and I know I didn't. And there's just no denying that, right? And I know it, and that's God's punished me, and I've, but
punished.
It's everyone. Every one of these singers have these stories, and I understand. Every time I hear of a former celebrity who's committed suicide, I understand. I totally understand because I was there too. It's kind of like how Drew Barrymore, all those child stars, they become really famous and they go through like the worst times of their lives and they disappear.
Yeah.
It's something about becoming a star too early and not having your footing grounded that leads to this kind of stuff, in my opinion. But I'll tell you about all that in just a little bit. And that's also going to be on my podcast as well. We're going to discuss all of this stuff.
Plug all your stuff.
Yeah. So let me just put you through here. It's the Oriental Experience. Okay. It's about my experience. It's about your experience. It's going to be about your experience as well, Joe. The Oriental experience that we have in all of us. So, okay. The reason I even made it, I was like really specific about using that word is because it doesn't matter if you get rid of the word because the PC always remain. And you can see that by what's happening right now. Even people like Sal Governale, on the Howard Stern show. There's been a lot of things that's going on. I don't feel like I was a victim of racism, but I think I was a victim of teasing, so stuff like that. I don't take it to the heart, but I do understand elements of that were there.
Wait,
But,
is this in school that you were teased?
Yeah, of course. When I first immigrated, of course, man. But we'll get to that later, okay? But first, let's go back to that original question. What did I do? I just decided on a whim that I'm going to go back to Korea and then chase a dream that I thought was impossible. And I said, you know what? I'm never going to be happy in life unless I try this and fail. So I went with the intent of failing.
That's a good attitude to have, honestly.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy either, because for a year I was going around basically training in Korean language, training in Korean acting, training in vocal, training in rap. And this was all like places that I had like just kind of bum rushed and kind of like asked them, hey, you know what? I can do this. Train me.
Mm-hmm.
I was a nut like that. I don't even know. I can't, if you asked me to do that kind of stuff again, I'd be like, no, hell no, But back then it was just like, it was a dream and I had to do it. And I knew that was what I really wanted to do, because there was no way in hell that I would drop my pride for anything at that stage except for that. And I did. And somewhere along the line, things started to work out. I met with the right people. And if it weren't for these people, I would have never made it, And one of them, I want to credit him right now, Steve from Uptown. He's my hometown brother from the Valley, but we got really close back in Korea. And he ended up playing a very pivotal role in introducing me to the right person to get my big break. And that was with the group Sharp. So the group Sharp was built around 3 storm models, 2 girls and 1 guy. And they didn't have anyone that could really sing or rap or do like, they didn't have like the skills element. So
they had the look, but not the.
Yeah. And then
so you're the Mike Nesmith.
Yeah. I wasn't, I wasn't the James Dean. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. For people who are young, too young, that was a reference to the Monkees. And they got 3 guys that were there for their looks and acting skills, and then they realized they didn't have a musician in the group, so they got Mike Nesmith to round out the Monkees.
So there was always that formula. I had never known, but there's always that formula, right? There's like the 3 pretty girls and like the 2 ugly guys, or like the 1 ugly guy. Or there's like, there's like the 1 singer that could sing really good. And I'm gonna drop a name of a group, Finkel. Like that's 1.
Finkel.
And there's actually 1 person that could sing really good. The rest of them are kind of like to form the image, right?
Yeah.
So there was a formula.
Destiny's Child.
Yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like the ugly guy with skills that represents like the LA.
Okay. For people not watching, Young's pretty easy on the eyes, so he's talking himself down.
No, it's not. You don't understand, because when you go on stage, like I had like girls, like I could see what they're mouthing. They're going, "Oh, 쟤 진짜 못생겼다." Like 쟤 진짜 못생겼다. He's really ugly. I could see like from the stage when I'm rapping, these girls mouthing those words. You'd be amazed at how much you can see.
That's cruel. Like what
it is, but you're not. I mean, you gotta be ready for that if you're in the entertainment industry, because you're putting yourself out there, and once you are, then you are gonna be judged.
Oh yeah.
You are. You're not a person. You're not a person with feelings. You're not like their friend. You're just an image.
Anytime you're doing anything in public, you're exposing yourself to public. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Yeah.
And I was like 22 or 23 back then. I think I didn't look like I was in high school. So I made my debut with them, but it ended up turning out kind of a little bit weird, because I just wasn't good looking enough. The skills were there. I had a lot of people telling me about how, I was a good rapper and everything, but I just wasn't popular. Every fan meeting, I'd have like 2 fans. And then, Jiyoung, she would have like 20 fans, that are there waiting. And then someone else has like, she was the most popular one. And then here's me with like 1 or 2 fans, which I was really grateful for.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was like 23. These girls were like in high school. mean, I felt like, I wasn't really doing it to get fans or to become super popular, but I really wanted to do music that I was going to be proud of. But Sharp kind of went off in a different direction. So, and, I was getting tired of being called too ugly by my CEO. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get out. And then my producer offered me another position. He said, you know what? Let's do Bros together back then. This was going to be Diva, Rula. It was going to be Player. It was going to be like these like big time groups back in like the 90s coming together to form like this YG family, like these Bros
like
family
super
type
group.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like the Puff Daddy and the whatever's, like his posse or whatever, right? So we were going to do that. And then my contract, it just wouldn't clear. They wouldn't let me out of it. And I just had to stay with the company. And then the company offered me a position in Uptown. And that was kind of something that I really wanted, because coming from LA, we had grown up listening to gangster rap, DJ Quick, NWA. We were influenced by Tupac, Biggie Smalls, like all those guys. That's, Wu-Tang. Those were our influences, right? So I jumped at the chance to be in Uptown. So I got in Uptown. And then we were doing that for a little bit, but the fourth album just did not end up picking up any ground that much. So after that, we were locked in a contract for about 3 years, and then I couldn't do anything for about 3 years. Once my contract was done, I tried to revive my music career as a rapper by rapping for this girl named Shinan Song, and I did have like a verbal contract, which is never a contract. Let me just tell you. If someone's offering you a verbal contract, then it's never a contract.
Right? I mean, seriously. I learned as recently as 2016. No, no verbal contracts. No.
So the deal was that I was going to rap. Like I was going to be like, the sidekick for this girl for a little bit. And then they were going to work on my album with some other guy. And that fell through. So it just ended. And then, I was this 26-year-old guy that wasn't making any money, and couldn't get back into the music industry. So I'm not sure if you know Jason Lee, right?
Yeah.
Jason Lee is one of the original guys too, one of the original voice actors here. I had met him through Travis, who was in a group called Too Shy, while I was promoting with the girl Shinan Song.
Yeah. After
my contract ended, and we had gotten close because we were all Korean American. He was Korean Canadian, and every Canadian that I've spoken to just has been really laid back. I don't know if it's like this like socialist attitude or what, but they've just been laid back. It's just been really cool, right?
They're cool.
But there's been some Korean Americans that I've met that just have like a stick up their ass big time.
Oh my goodness.
And I know and I know you don't want to say,
especially from
but
LA.
Also so exactly. Oh. And I laugh my ass off because it's so true. And I was one of them. Man. I wasn't like this before, man. I was a dick. I was an asshole, man. And I think that's why God said, you know what? You don't deserve to be a star.
Oh.
And then plucked me back down. And that was when I went through like the worst depression of my life.
Because I must have met you after this asshole stage, because you're one of the nicest people I've ever met.
It changed me. I think it changed me. It's not that I was an asshole at the core, but I think, just having all that attention and having all that, everywhere you go, you're treated like, just a celebrity, basically. Everyone loves you. But when you're not on TV anymore, that's when everyone drops you. And that's what hurts the most. And that's where you really see what the real people are. My wife, I'm with her right now.
Okay. I thought you were going to say like, I'm going to see what she's really like. Oh, wow.
Oh, hell no. That's this is me right after Uptown.
Uh-huh.
So this is when I went back to America for a year.
Yeah.
And this is the day that I was leaving on the airport. So we took this picture together, and I was going to come back for her no matter what, because I loved her.
Oh.
And, there was always that thing. It's like, I don't know, is she going to wait for me or what? But years later, this was back in 2001. So 2000.
Wow.
So right now, I mean, what is it?
20 years ago.
Right
It's 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're married and we have 2 kids. So it worked out well for me. I mean, if there was anything great that I got out of Korea was, my family. But so we were talking about like, my career and stuff like
yeah,
that.
So you're off TV. So you came off TV. You had the a bit of a bad time.
It wasn't a bad time because I was with my wife. So
that helps.
I was really focused on her. And for some reason, I mean, like, I just knew that I was going to marry her. So I was just happy being with her. And I was waiting for my contract. I was waiting for this. And then Arirang Radio, I had an opportunity from Jason Lee. Jason Lee told me about an audition, and I did an audition. I started doing a program called Kpop Zone from 2 to 4 p.m. It was a live program 7 days a week. I did that for about 8 years.
That's good. That's good steady employment.
Yeah. So while I was doing that, I wanted to further my career, and many expats that are there right now that want to further their career in broadcasting or voice acting, they might want to hear something like this too.
Okay.
There was no bridge back then between EBS and Arirang, except for people like Jason, Jennifer Clyde. And I know I'm naming a few of the old timers, Anna Demarais. Lisa Kelly, of course. And I was kind of like the addition to that. But this was, it was really hard for me to make that bridge because that bridge was kept sacred. So Arirang was Arirang and this was that and that was that. But, there's a lot of people who are making their living through that industry. So there's kind of
it's so hard.
I know, you know what I mean,
unstable.
Right? You got to break in there. But back then, once you broke in, you were in.
Oh no! So I've broken in like 3 times.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about like the 90s and the
okay,
the early 2000s.
I've broken in 3 times, and then they canceled. They like Arirang or someone gets a new president and kills all the shows.
Yeah.
And then I get a
talk
call
about that stuff too.
I get a call a year later saying like, we just discovered your blog, and it's like I used to work for you guys. And
Exactly.
You act like I'm the new guy there.
Exactly. One of the things that I've realized of working at Arirang, and you're not allowed to say this, but I am. There's some people you're not allowed to say this because you're still there looking for, you're still a possible employee there. Me, I'm just doing my own thing. Yeah, but honestly, a lot of it's very political, and there's a lot of very short-sighted producers there. There's some very good ones like the Korea Today producers, and everyone that worked on Korea Today, I will vouch for any time of the day.
There are some great people, and I'm so happy to hear that they're still there. Yep.
Yeah.
But they have no power.
There's some people that I've worked for that just are basically doing everything to please whoever's in charge. So all of their creative juices, it's burned out. And one of the biggest things is that I had a qualm with is that many of the producers that don't make good programs, they don't watch world programming. So if you're going to create programming for the world, shouldn't you be watching programs that are produced by the world?
All right, I mean, I'm gonna quote my first friend in Korea, Brant. Anytime he said, "Why don't you do this?" He says, "But problem with that is that it makes sense." But Young, that would make sense.
So why aren't they doing it? Well, it beats the crap out of me, but I've noticed that every time, especially a lot of these broadcast stations that are funded partially by the government or a government entity.
All the English ones, except for, is KBS funded by the government?
KBS is always funded by the government.
Yeah, everyone's funded. Anything that's English is funded by the government.
No, it's just KBS in general is funded by the government.
Yeah, but I'm saying Arirang, EBS, TBS, EFM.
Arirang, EBS, TBS
well,
is
TBS
from the Seoul government.
TBS just lost its government funding recently.
What happened to...
They transitioned out because I got another one of those phone calls of, oh, this is too funny. Got emails. They were looking for a new host for shows.
Yeah, I heard about that big old shuffle over there.
And so they called me. They said, I was told, my insider at TBS, anyone who knows anything about TBS knows who I'm talking about, said, yeah, someone's going to call you. They're looking for a new host for a show. So they contacted me.
Is it the morning?
I don't even know what it was. They just wanted me to come in for an audition or for a meeting. And they said, how good's your Korean? and I said it's intermediate, topic level 3, and
English go.
And they're like, no, I'm sorry, we can't. No, it was they were looking for Korean speakers for TBS EFM.
Oh, TBS EFM. Sorry, I kept
It's
naming
TBS.
like EBS, but 편집 that. Sorry.
No, EBS is totally different. It's a total different. The EBS and Arirang have very different politics going on, and it's all these different fiefdoms. Everyone protecting their little fiefdoms.
So in the end, the politics is why I left. But getting to that, the politics was what made me who I am. So after a singing career, I did have a certain amount of merit. I had a certain amount of value. So value as in monetary value. I could bring certain people. I had knowledge and this and that. But once that starts fading out, it's harder and harder for people to get jobs. And I think I was able to move up because the YouTube thing wasn't really in back then.
Yeah.
So I was doing a radio DJ thing, and then I was a weathercaster. I did Let's Speak Korean, of course. And then I did I was a weathercaster, and then I was a sportscaster, and then I was writing B-rolls, and I was doing certain packages. While I was hosting like 2 or 3 radio programs. I was doing world news for a Christian global network. I was also doing, what is it called? All the other programs that came along with Arirang, voice acting and all that. But I had a feeling I was passing my 30s. I was in my 30s, and I was like almost getting into my 40s. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, you know what? I can't be 40 and keep doing K-pop programs.
Are you implying we're close to the same age?
I'm 44.
We're close to the same age. I'm just a couple of years older than you. Okay.
Oh, you're older. That's surprising. I thought you were younger. Yeah, you look young. You're a young-looking white man. That's kind of,
I know it's Korean cosmetics. It's Korean skincare. That's
exactly. There you go. The BB cream and all that. I mean,
it totally
to be honest,
is, dude.
I'm not trying to be racist, but like a majority of white people, they age faster than Asian people.
I know. I hate it. No.
So I am 44. And
wow.
So I'm a product
of
the 90s.
You don't look. No. You don't look 44. I don't. 44 ain't old.
It's because I'm immature. That's just. It's just, you know what? I'm not. Come on, I refuse to grow up. You grow up, that's the day you die. That's how I see it.
Always keep your mind flexible. That's the thing for me. Try to learn new things. Never get set in your ways. Always look for someone to change your worldview.
You know what I always envied in you is something that I don't have. I mean, I did it like when I was younger, but you rise up to the challenge and you just try it. You just do it. It's like your little tours or whatever, the tours, like it's such a great idea. But I'm thinking the first thing that I would be thinking in my head is like, but no one's going to go, right? I mean, it's a great idea, but only people that are going to know are going to go.
Thanks. I mean, I was just talking on another podcast, all my failed projects. I have so many failed projects.
That's not a failed project though.
But that's one of the ones that succeeded. But I have so many failed projects.
Okay.
On top of it, I'm always, and my poor wife has to deal with me always working on something new and never seeing anything come of it. No money coming of it, or me pouring money into something new and nothing comes of it. She sees me just doing this all the time. She wants me just to get a regular corporate job like all the other husbands.
No, Joe, you should not do that because there's a time and place for everyone. And there's also an opportunity that rises up. And I think all of us, the ones that don't like just rise up in the first like few years, we may have something that's like a bit more longer lasting. It might be like a short-term stint that's a lot of these people get, but all that experience behind you is going to carry you longer and further, where you might not be like the number one guy, and everyone's not going to be looking to you.
Not going to be
that. But the thing is, the people that really do well are the people that last. It's not the stars, but it's like the supporting roles. It's those guys that make the real money and that really get etched in the history of things,
Oh, I'm feeling it now. Thank you.
No, I believe that. I believe that.
Feeling
it's
it.
not No, it's not. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just laughing to cover up my feelings right now.
Okay. So
I mean, I'm feeling it. Thank you.
It's like all of us have been on a ride over there. All of us entertainers, all of us who are trying to do something. We've done a big part for Korea, and many times, I think you probably don't get enough credit for everything that you've done, Korea. Maybe the Ministry of Culture and Tourism should be reaching out to you, and things like that. And maybe they're reaching out to the wrong people, but that time will come, I think.
There always are. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sucks. Okay, this is my big struggle. This is me. Oh God, me talking about my stuff is. I think it's. I'll use whatever excuse I can. I really shouldn't be using excuses. Maybe me coming to Korea right when I hit 30, or something. But my struggles with the language. I study Korean all the time almost, and I'm just so It's like I noticed. I started learning. I learned how to read in a couple of hours, really fast, and I got through the first 2 levels really fast. And then suddenly I hit 30. I think around when I hit 32, very difficult to learn anything new, any new language, and so I've been stuck at this. It's so rough, and it kills me. It's like I see all these 20-somethings coming in, and they're learning the language in 6 months, and suddenly because okay, this is the other sad fact is there are so few non-Koreans who speak Korean that all you have to do is speak somewhat fluent Korean and you have a broadcasting career. You don't have to have talent. You just have to speak Korean because so few people speak Korean that aren't Korean. And that a lot of doors would open up for me if my Korean was better.
Well, it's never too late. But listen, it's the sign of the times too, bro. Back then, it didn't require it. You didn't need to do it. When you first came in 2004, it's a force of habit. I don't think. I don't think you're blaming yourself. But it's just I have noticed that when I came over here and started speaking English all day, my Korean sucks right now.
Oh yeah.
It you just have to keep using it, bro.
It's when I'm immersed and I have to use it. I get better. I've been teaching after school the past couple of years, past year, and I'm in an elementary school environment where even though technically an English teacher, teaching is not a priority, it's kind of just babysitting. So mostly I'm speaking Korean in class.
Yeah.
My Korean improved a lot. Yeah. When I ran the restaurants, my Korean improved because all my staff and my customers didn't speak English.
But it goes away like that.
Yeah, and it just goes away. I mean, so I'm constantly I'm taking online programs, and my girls speak Korean in the household, so I have to keep my radar up all the time. Since my wife and I speak, she speaks. It's like my wife and me is like Chewbacca and Han Solo. It's like one speaks one language, the other one speaks the other language, but we each understand each other most of the time.
It's like Daniel Henney in all of his dramas. I think that's really unfair.
That is bad. Yeah.
Just because he's good looking. Yeah, just you gotta just use it, bro. Just use it. You know what I suggest? I have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Why don't you do podcasts in Korean?
You're not the first person to suggest that. I'm working up the courage to do that.
Just do it. Because my broadcast Korean was really bad, but it came up to the point where I could broadcast here in Radio Korea or some of the other Korean networks, and they'd be fine with it. But I couldn't broadcast in Korean for a long time. But there was this one program called 제일 동포를 위한 한국어 강좌, and that is from KBS World, and it's for Korean Americans and people who speak Korean who are living in other parts of the world to listen to and to refresh like the latest Korean phrases, the terms, like the 유행어 or whatever and stuff. And I did that program with this announcer from KBS for about 5 years, and just doing that once a week, it helped my Korean so much. Just do it, dude. Just try to get on a Korean program or just do something in Korean.
I'll do something in Korean. We talked about my daughter and me. She was going to teach me Korean on a podcast or something.
There you go. That's a perfect thing. That is perfect. And it's those things that people start watching.
Yeah. And I mean, times I've been trying to get back to writing music. So I did write one K-pop song, and my daughter and I trying to get her to write lyrics. We're trying to work together to write Korean lyrics for it.
I'll write the rap for you.
I'll put a rap part in there.
Yeah, all you need is a eight measure bridge. You know, that's how rap became. That's how rap.
Actually, there is an eight measure bridge. We
Every
put a
song
rap in
has
there.
an 8 measure bridge, and that's how rap, you know, kind of made its way in. It was kind of like the filler, you know.
It was. Yeah. Well, the K-pop, that's the formula. Is you got to put that in there. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I was doing K-pop, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't K-pop. It was Kayo. I don't think you know about that yet.
No. Teach
So
me
Kayo,
this ancient K-pop history.
It's just terms. It's just a term, right? But K-pop wasn't a term that was used freely in the 90s. It started being, you know, making waves, or it started, you know, pop peeping its head every now and then in like the 2000s. And it was easy to come up with, you know. It's just K-pop, Korean pop, basically.
It's easy.
Korean popular
because
music.
there was J-pop too.
Yeah. So Korean pop music, popular Korean pop music used to be called Kayo.
Kayo.
So
As opposed to
gay.
Trotto.
Trot is bongchak. That's another. That's trot is trot, but Kayo was like after trot.
I've lived here long enough that I actually like trot.
Trot is big right now. It's like
I like
huge.
it.
Yeah, like that.
It's making a comeback here. Yeah,
it's huge right now.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. But.
I associate it with going on trips.
Huh?
I associate it with
going on trips. It's like a vacation.
Because whenever you're at a rest stop, you hear it. You hear someone trying to promote a trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I associate trot with going on vacation. Just like my favorite Korean, like mountainside, country-style Korean restaurants on the ends of dirt roads, I associate with pansori because they always play pansori.
You're right.
Yeah, pansori.
And that's what I think music ultimately does right now. Because when you listen to a certain song, you think about that time period that you were in when you were enjoying the song, when you were sitting at a pojamacha or something, right?
These days too, as now like 90s gangster rap, I associate with Tom's Pizza because that's his playlist. And now anytime I hear gangster rap, I want pizza. It's funny.
For me, gangster rap, it's LA. It's just LA. It's just everything that I grew up with in LA. Yeah. LA was a strange place back then. Right now, I see people walking around at night. I'm like going, oh my God, dude, you would have been killed if you would have walked out after the sun went down in LA back in like the 90s, dude.
The 90s.
I see people hanging out at Echo Park.
We were watching it from a distance in Alabama, like emulating it.
Man, those who lived it, man, y'all don't know just how good you have it right now. I mean, Korea, in LA, in Alabama, in New York. Well, not right now in New York, but you know, it's just there's a lot, man. It's just great.
Yeah.
So I think you know, if you want to like go delve deeper into my life, I mean my experience. So I'm doing this podcast thing also. I want to use your material as well, and I want to have you on there as well. And it's about the experiences of everyone.
Yeah.
And I told you that, but this my experience has been like just a roller coaster, and I don't regret any moment of it. I've made some big mistakes, and I'm gonna hold those mistakes off from now. And they do involve criminal mistakes as well, you know. I've done a lot of things where none of the intentions were bad, but it was always to either impress myself or to prove something to myself or to impress others or to make someone happy or make someone, you know, something along those lines. And just the life that I've lived, I think if you were to look at my life, I think you should have confidence in yourself and say that, hell, if he could do it, dude, anybody could do it.
Well, this is why I wanted you on the show.
You just have to really just put your mind to it, right?
I look up to you. I wanted you on the show because I look up to you. I think I consider you successful.
I mean, I think I am because of the rich experiences that I've had. But as in success of money, so I play football with a really famous guy.
Uh-huh.
His name is Travis Kalanick. He's the founder of Uber.
Uh-huh.
So he's a billionaire right now, and I'm like going, okay, he's successful, but
just
some
have
might
a
view him
little bit of that.
Yeah, but some might see him as a disgrace because of how he left Uber or how he was kicked off Uber or whatever.
There's still an arrest warrant for him in Seoul.
For what?
Oh, the Uber thing. They're trying to find all the ways to kick Uber out, and they had
off the record. Oh, well, it is on the record.
No, it's on the record, buddy.
It is on the record. Fine. My opinion of that kind of stuff is very different from what the law of Korea or whatever they're,
everyone knows it was protectionism.
Okay, so let's just put that aside. But I'm allowed to say it, but you aren't. But it's like, go ahead.
I've been in trouble for libel once. I can do it again.
You know what? Do it. I think that's one of the reasons behind my Oriental Experience thing. I want the truth to get out there, and there's going to be a lot of juicy material on K-pop too, K-entertainment, and what I've seen in the entertainment industry. And if there's something that's happening, for example, like a suicide or something, I will tell you why they did it because I've been there before. And
people need to hear that. People really need to hear that. I was just my new phone. I was getting a new phone November. I think it was November. Went to the local phone place in my neighborhood in Pumudong and Gimpo. Now everyone knows where I live. The guy selling me the phone was Vancouver, Korean Canadian from Vancouver. He was in the K-pop system, and he was in a group, and he was under multi-year contract. They never even had a debut. But he was talking about living in the dorms with 5 other guys, and they only had they only had like $100 a week for food.
You want me
between 5 of them.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
And living like that for years and never getting a debut.
He wasn't in Acton Club, right? Because there was a group called Acton Club.
I don't remember what he was in. He moved back to Vancouver. Last time I went by the store, he'd already moved back to Vancouver.
So excuse me. So how much do you think I made?
I don't know.
In my entire singing career.
I'm from what I've seen, how much did you make? I can't even guess.
I'm going to give you an exclusive. I'll talk about it on my thing, but I'm going to do it for you, all right?
Okay. So if you want to find out how much Young made during his K-pop career, tune in for the next episode of this Soul Podcast. Or if you really just can't wait enough, sign up on our Patreon at patreon.com/Soul Podcast. At just $5 a month, you can get early, unedited recordings of our show just almost hot after we record them. Don't have to wait any longer. You can do that. It's patreon.com/Soul Podcast. Thank you. I'll talk to you next week.
The Soul Podcast is produced by Joe McPherson and is copyrighted 2020 by Zen Kimchi International under the Creative Commons license. Parts of this podcast may be used for non-commercial purposes if you remember to give us credit. You can contact us at sejong@soulpodcast.com. That's SEJONG@soulpodcast.com. For a transcript of this episode, listen to it again and write down what you hear. Please support us at patreon.com/soulpodcast.